talk about. Well, first things first, I gotta tell you, I was really upset that Tina Turner died. Okay, that's enough of that. That's a loss. Um, okay, on to other things like my topic, fixed ideas. So I want to talk to all walks of life, and I want to be engaged. And part of what's happened in my conversations over the past couple of years is like most of us, if you talked about anything that I didn't agree with or believe in, once you started expressing your opinion, I had two responses: to argue with you or to get out of the conversation as quickly as possible before you piss me off too much. And then this little thing called COVID happened. And I found myself being okay. Let me just back up. Before COVID, like so, say pre 2020, if I had strong opinions about anything, politics, the world, race, culture, identity, it was sort of like most of who I was surrounded with felt or viewed things the same way I did. So it was safe, right? I had these little like echo chambers or microcosms where it was like, ooh, we all agree. Ooh, isn't it great? We're all the same. La, 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 la. Right? But then COVID like really disrupted me. And the reason for that was because a lot of these very same people I had always hung around with and always agreed with and always powwowed with and could always find common ground, all of a sudden, and I think this went both ways, they started saying some crazy ass shit. Like really disturbing crazy ass shit. And I was like, that not only did I have a hard time with, but it was really rubbing it up against what I thought about things, whatever those things were: health, personal health, mandates, vaccinations, all the stuff that went through that we went through, right? And all of a sudden, it was sort of like everyone around me wasn't agreeing. And I was mad a lot. And then what I started to think about was, what if I'm only mad because I'm too entrenched in the way I look at things? And what if instead of just dismissing because they fill in the blank, didn't like my candidate, didn't agree with my ideas, or instead of getting angry about it, which is a waste? I mean, I know tons of people that as soon as you mention some particular politician's name, they become completely and immediately incensed. And I'm like, that's a lot of energy towards somebody that you don't even know. And I know everybody has their reasons, right? But I want to like save my anger for shit that is like really personal, like you attacked me, you did something to me. And so during that time, I was sort of like, it just kind of like forced me to look longer and harder at people who didn't have the same ideas as me, people who didn't look at things the way I did, people who thought completely outside of the box that I had been living in. And it was a powerfully cathartic experience. And it was a highly emotional roller coaster because the whole time it was just like up, down, up, down. What do I think? What do I believe? I don't know. What about this? What about that? I love these people and what they're saying, but they sound like assholes and they sound really stupid right now. Oh my God, do I like them right now or do I hate them? How do I feel about like, equality and identity? It's like, oh, sounds good, let's go. And then it's like, oh, sounds bad, not a good idea. And it was just like a constant, push pull like this as I was trying to sort of figure out where I stood. And here's where I landed. Nowhere really. I still have opinions, but like for example, this morning I'm talking to a group of people, and what I noticed is like they have these ideas about life that's really indicative of they're a little bit older, and they have a way of like looking at the world that is based on the world that they've been living in and grew up in. But what's happening right now is the world's shifting into a different place. And for me, so I'm a Gen Xer. I'm 55. So I'm on the cusp of like I started using a computer at 20. I was in my 30s by the time cell phones came along. I've adapted to technology. I'm intelligent. I'm quick. Um, but it's like what's really interesting is I have a lot of ideas that are a little bit more new agey. And these people's ideas about like money and financial security are stuck in the work world that we knew prior to COVID. And I think the work world is different. And I myself had to really like examine work and life and money and financial security in order to find work that I love and in order to become more financially secure. Because like what I was hearing in this conversation were like a lot of ideas of fear and scarcity. And these are abundantly wealthy people, by the way. A lot of ideas of fear and scarcity that had to do with the world not being what it was before, not being as abundant, too much debt, too many jobs. And those things are all real, right? But the thing is that it's almost like those things are real and they're more prominent, but we're trying to get out of them using methods we used to do to get out of them, and those methods aren't really working anymore, right? So for me, just like in the way that I was becoming disrupted and angry all the time, and that wasn't working anymore, I had to find something else that was better. And for me, that's a deeply spiritual foundation for my life. It's something where I'm like, okay, there's so many powers that are going to disrupt me in a day. People talking about stuff, politics, race, equality, identity. The conversations out there can be really disruptive. The only thing that's bigger than that is something of a higher power nature, of a divine nature, something that's in me and in all of us, and that can actually require me to just sit and be in order to tap into this collective consciousness that's all powerful, all knowing, and all loving. All right. I think that's all I have to say about that. I think I have more to say, but I went in a different direction than I wanted to, so I'll talk about that tomorrow. Hope you have a good day. Ciao.